Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. We've got a special Christmas Day video for one of my mods for my stream. Links down below. Go and make my Christmas. Go and give me a follow. Anyway, one of my mods on my stream is a guy by the name of XTmine. I know him in real life. I'm not going to say his name on here because that's not fair. But he told me that one of his favourite decks, or one of his favourite commanders, was Gonti. So, I've decided to have a go at making Gonti Lord of Luxury something I can play on MTGO when he's online again. So, this is your little Christmas present video from me, XT. How am I doing this? Well, mono black to start with. And so therefore we have got a lot of swamps in the deck. And then Urborg and Temple of False God. And some other bits and pieces to make life a bit more interesting for us. So we've got Reliquary Tower, Path of Ancestry, Nykthos, Shrine of Nyx, to go along with Cabal Coffers and Cabal Stronghold. I've chucked in Blighted Fen just so we can, if there's a creature causing us a problem, we get the opponent to sacrifice it. Command Towers in, Desert of the Glorified, Fabled Passage, Memorial to Folly, Mortuary Mile, Myriad Landscape, all because I want Field of the Dead, because it's a black deck and you've got to have some zombies in a black deck. That's my take anyway. The rest of the deck is very much like this. The ramp side, Mox, Tantalite, Soul Talisman, Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Mind Stone. They're the main ramp sources for the spells in the deck. I've also chucked in a Jeweled Lotus because we want, if we can get Gonti out on turn 1, it's going to upset a lot of our opponents very quickly. And realistically, with this in play and one land that comes into play on tap, we'll be able to do that. But I've also got some other bits in because, we want to be able to use Gonti's ability to play our opponent's cards, which is why we're quite heavy on the ramp side of things here. But we've got a few other bits and pieces, like Dark Rituals in, Cabal Rituals in, so we can get that nice extra mana if we need it. And then once we've nicked our opponent's creatures, what we want to do, well, nicked our opponent's whatevers to play, I should say. Mainly it's probably going to be creatures because we're going to want to nick them. We want to keep them if we can, so yeah. We've got things like Feign Death. Not great because it goes back to our opponent if it dies, but it could kill off one of their other creatures. I've got Reanimate to nick their creatures. Malakir Rebirth is the 37th land most of the time, to be fair. But when this creature dies, return it to battlefield under its owner's control. So you can cast them on your ones. That's what we're really trying to do with some of these. But Reanimate's to nick our opponent's stuff, along with Animate Dead will nick our opponent's creatures. Supernatural Stamina protects our creatures or protects Gonti. You can chuck them on Gonti so Gonti comes back. Bear that in mind. Viscerous, we can sack off anything we do kind of maybe steal somehow if it's going to be taken back. And Vamp Tutors in as well, just so we can go and find the card we need and we'll lose a couple of life, but we'll find the card we want. Expedition Map to go and get that one thing we need. Anyway, Animate Dead, Cabal Ritual. Then we've got a bit of targeted removal in Cast Down, Go for the Throat, Infernal Grasp. And technically Liliana's Triumph, because we've got a few Liliana Planeswalkers in here, so technically, they sack a creature and they discard a card, which isn't too bad. I've chucked in Dusk Legion Zealot just because we want some card draw. Along with Ultimate Dimension, gives us a way to mill things out of people's graveyards to then nick with Animate Dead or Reanimate, which is kind of cool. For more removal, we've got some random stuff. So we've got Demon's Disciple, Merciless Executioner, Soul Shatter, to the Slaughter to help with that side of it, and then a few creatures to help us out a little bit more. So there's Braids, Arisen Nightmare in here. Beginning your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact or enchantment. You know what it does. Each opponent then has to sacrifice permanent, shares a type with it. If they don't, they lose 2 life and we draw a card. Sounds good to me. Liliana, Heretic Healers in, because we will be killing creatures off, so getting this to flip should be pretty straightforward. And Ariane, the First of Alokwane, is also in as well, because we've got mainly black creatures coming in, so we might as well get a bit of life gain. And if we can sack another black creature and draw a card, all well and good. Ashnod's Altar, another way to sack things off, and this adds mana, which could be quite useful if we need the colourless stuff. Moving on to the 4-drops for XT, we've got Cryptgas, which I'm pretty sure they play. This is interesting because those is mono black. Because this is a split mana card symbol, you can actually use it in a mono black deck, even though it's a black white extort cost. But you know, it's here, and it doubles up our swamp production, which is lovely. Damnation to control the board a bit. Defiler of Flesh. I've put this in because I want to try it out. I haven't played many of the Defilers at all, apart from the white one in Myril. You'll see that later in the week. But this has come up now, and I'm like, +1/+1, and Menace. Yeah, it might punch through some damage, hence why it's here. Gissa, Glorious Resurrector's in as well. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it. At the beginning of your upkeep, put all creature cards exiled with Gissa onto the battlefield under your control. It's quite nice if you've got this in play as a whole load of board, then you hit Damnation. So we're not going to complain about that too much. Liliana of the Dark Realms to help find swamps if we need it, and then, you know, hopefully get to the -6 bit and make all our swamps go, yeah, tap for 4 mana. That would be fantastic. Ravenous Chupacabra to kill a creature. I've chucked in Aetherflux Reservoir because I think we need some life gain in this deck, especially with one of the cards we've got coming up, so yeah. And if there was a deck ever made for Helm of the Host, it is Gonti. Equipping this onto Gonti and getting extra Gontis that aren't legendary each turn is just amazingly broken. Just bear that in mind. Nyx Lotus helps with the ramp. Devotion to black is going to be high. Panharmonican's in as well. We've got to have Panharmonica in because we are doing a lot of comes into play effects. You know, Ravenous Chupacabra, Dusk Legion Zealot, Gonti, and Solemn Sim, obviously. More Control and Crux of Fate. Grey Merchant of Asphodel is in, you know. Panharmonican, Grey Merchant, lovely little combo. Bear it in mind. Junie the Midnight Sky comes in as well, mainly because we can get creatures back from our graveyard when it dies. Liliana Death's Majesty, so we can mill some stuff, get a zombie, and then, you know, we can always reanimate it if we mill out something we need. Like Massacre Girl. Massacre Girl's quite good. Massacre Girl wipes the board 90% of the time, so bear that in mind. And she stays in play. Obnixious of the Black Oath I've chucked in as well, just for the little bit of extra life gain. You know, you maybe occasionally do the -2 to get the demon that we need with flying to save us, so yeah, bear that going. And the other version of Obnixious is in as well, the Reignited one. +1 draw card, lose a life, destroy target creature, etc. Yeah, so, and whenever an opponent draws a card, you lose 2 life. So that might help a little bit as well. Pallid Siege for the Dragon's ability, just so we can go at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 2 and we gain 2. That's nice. And Puppeteer Clique. I figured this was quite a laugh. I haven't played any persist creatures for a while. This comes in, enters the battlefield, put target creature from opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under control. It gains haste. At the beginning of your next end step, exile it. And you get to do it again when this gets killed off because the persist trigger brings it back, and the same thing happens. Likewise, Geth's in, just so we can do the same thing. Put target artifact creature card with mana value X from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under our control tapped, and we get to keep it, so that's nice. And then that player mills X cards, so yeah, I figured this was quite a nice little include. Grave Titan for some more zombies and a bit of death touch. Kukushko for life gain. Noxious Gearhog to control the board and work very nicely with Panharmonican, so does Nick Kushkushko. And then one of the reasons I've got Aetherflux, well, the only reason I've got Aetherflux Reservoirs in his Bollers of Citadel. Yeah, we'll just pay stuff off the top of our library, and hopefully we'll get to the point where we've got Aetherflux Reservoir in play. Bollers of Citadel, and we get to cast some cheap spells to start with, and then build up from there. Because once you get past casting 4 spells in a turn, you're gaining enough life that it completely minimises what you're losing, because Aetherflux Reservoir will trigger because you are casting them. Aberrant Overlord, just so we get some harpies to defend ourselves with, and it's quite good fun. Yeah, bringing this back with Animate Dead's not the worst plan in the world either, because at the end of the day, if you play this, you'll end up with 8 power in play the first time if you've only got this, and that is it. Because it's got 2 black mana symbols. You've got more black mana symbols in play, you get a lot more harpies and it gets better. Brain Stealer Dragon. I forgot this card had come in with Battle for Baldur's Gate. At the beginning of your end step, exile the top card of each opponent's library. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it's mana of any colour to cast it, and whenever a non-land permanent an opponent owns enters the battlefield under your control, they lose life equal to its mana value. This is like a super advanced version of Gonti. Lot more expensive to cast, very hard to protect. 7 mana, you're going to want to be protecting it with the Swiftfoot boots as soon as possible. But that ability at the end of your end step, that's nice, because you cast this, you get to your end step, you exile maybe 3 cards, and they just sit there. And you can play them for whenever you want to, even if the Brainstealer Dragon dies. As far as I'm aware, you can still play those cards because they have that little text on them. Grave Betrayal I chucked in. Whenever a creature you don't control dies, return it to the battlefield under your control with a +1/+1 counter on it at the beginning of the next end step. Yeah, lots of creatures plus Damnation or Crux of Fate, and this means you get a Horde. Sheldred is Sheldred. It's a black deck. Yeah, I'm playing Sheldred, sorry. Rise of the Dark Realms is also there for you, XT. I know you'd quite like this card sometimes. And likewise, I definitely know you like Torment of Hellfire, because I've seen you kill me with it when we're playing in real life. So, there you go, XT. There's your little Christmas Day treat for me, for a little deck tech, all for you, mate. For everyone else who's watched it, I hope you've liked, I hope you've subscribed. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think I've missed out of Gonti from here. But at the end of the day, this is for XTmine. His name's in the title, so, you know. Hopefully you enjoyed it, mate, and I'll see you all soon. And XT, I'll see you the next time I'm at the club. Everyone else, take care. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas day. Bye.